not talk about wrestling, but actually talk about music. And they were like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I did these YouTube videos, and at first it was just going to be me, and then I was going to bring Troy on. Well, it sucked. I mean, I'm not going to lie. It was terrible. The video thing, I mean, nobody was watching it. So after about 6 episodes, I said, the heck with it. I'd rather do a podcast. So we waited about 8, 9 months, and Troy and I started doing a podcast. And we did a couple shows, and then we had our first interview, which was Kenny Aronoff, and it was like really cool to talk to Kenny. And we were so green at interviewing people. We interviewed him for like an hour and 15 minutes, and we went through like his whole history, which was like way too long. And so I had a bright idea. I said, Troy, maybe we ought to see if we can find like a new band and see if they'd let us play a song by them. Sure, yeah, look around. So I started going on, like, I think it was like one of the radio things that people put their music out, and Bandcamp, I think it was. And I went on there and I found some, metal rock and roll bands. So I emailed a couple, and some of them sent me music. And so I played like one song. And then I thought, well, if they'll give me one song, maybe they'll give me two. So I started asking for two songs, and I'd play one at the beginning, one at the end of the podcast. Next thing you know, I had this bright idea: reach out to record companies, independent record companies, and PR folks. So I drafted up these nice emails and started sending them out. All of a sudden, I start getting inundated with all this music, and I had more music than I could play on the podcast. So after a year of the podcast, I said, it's time to start a radio show and start playing music on that. And it was all because Troy and I didn't think we could find bands that sounded like what we listened to. And you know what? I have found so many bands that would have made it in the 80s. I mean, in a heartbeat, they would have made it in the 80s, and nobody knows them.
It's true. Yeah. And that dismisses that big complaint that all it takes is a little initiative and you will find them.
Yeah.
But more and more guys like you, a lot of guys, I've found on Twitter, Facebook, people now actively pursuing becoming let's say, the vehicle for new music from the artist to the potential fans. You're doing it with your radio show and your podcasts. A lot of people doing it with their YouTube channels all over the world. The UK is huge right now.
Yeah.
With their support system.
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. There's a girl over there, Anna, who's doing all that stuff. I mean, and just killing it. I mean, interviewing all these up and new coming bands and stuff, and it's just people, I think, are begging to get on her, because she has a big following, and that's awesome, So
just got to keep pushing. And I think, James from Sherry's band said it best the other day. I interviewed their band, and for the This Is Rock show that we're doing now, and it's on YouTube. He said, hopefully, he's an optimist, and when we come out of this mess, maybe that anger and the release will, the valve is the rock and roll again.
Yeah.
And it's, if we're primed for it with everything that's gone on, especially in the last year. Rock and roll has always been, what we call the middle finger. This is it. Kids out there, I think, are looking for that to connect to, because that's what we're missing. Like you said, there's a lot of bands that connect with the 80s fans and the 70s fans, like, myself, and have that. That's really good to have the DNA that goes that far back, that's recognizable, but it's still new. We still don't have the kids, and I don't even know how to approach that. And I think that's done. The bands themselves have to somehow connect, because I'm not gonna. It's kind of like going into you're not gonna walk into a high school I'm a 54-year-old guy and trying to promote new bands. It just doesn't work. You have to connect on their, as peers and their level. These little things that you're starting to see come back. I don't know, down there. Well, there's a lot of bands coming out of Georgia that I've got following, that I've got on here, that I would never have known about. But we're starting to see some, battle of the bands are happening in high schools again. A little more every year. This year, threw a wrench in the works on every level of music, though. But hopefully there's a hunger that when all this blows over, people are going to want to start going out again and maybe going to see live music on a, the smaller level, the clubs and even the theaters like it used to be.
Yeah, I think so for sure. I think everybody misses being around people, and especially, when you go to concerts and whatnot, you miss that energy. You miss, like you said, just being around people, going to the theater. It's funny that you mentioned that, because a couple of my girlfriends and I were talking. We're just like, she was just like, kind of like, I just miss going to the theater, like doing simple things, going to a show, going to a comedy show, going to a concert, like all those things, like all of the, and I feel like once we get back on track, that's what's going to happen, right? Everybody's going to be jumping on board with that sort of thing because everybody misses it so much, right?
Yeah.
It's funny. Go ahead, Randy.
Well, I was just gonna say, yeah, like I've gone so far since COVID. I went and saw a Journey tribute band recently, which was nice to get out and they were good. I mean, they weren't the best tribute band probably out there for Journey, but because the lead singer kind of looked like he may have ate Steve Perry. He didn't really look like Steve Perry at all. But they were okay.
I don't like him at all.
But I'm going Friday night. This coming Friday night, I'm going to go see here in Virginia. I'm going to see a Led Zeppelin tribute band, and they're like one of the big ones. And so it's really cool that I'm getting to go see a show. Yeah, I'm going to have to wear my mask to get in the place, and I have my own little table, which is fine. And if I get up to go get something to drink or whatever, put the mask on. But that's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm cool with that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are a lot of venues that are creative. Bless you. Kid that plays guitar that I know really well from Albany. I interviewed him a couple of weeks ago, and I'd already known, but he went up. He's playing for that band now, Firstborn. They're out of Massachusetts. Good guys. Mike Kerr's the guitarist. Really professional. Kind of. They're fun dudes, but they're really polished. And he went up there to play a gig with them in Rhode Island. And he said he gets to the place, and they walk inside, and it's not really, it's open but not open, and he saw this little corner that looked like a stage, and they said, "Oh, cool, is this where we're playing?" And one of the girls that work in the club says, "Oh, no, you're playing outside." So it's like 35 degrees that night. But he said, and then they took him outside to show him where to load in or load onto the parking lot, if you want to call it that, right? He says there's nobody. There's a parking lot and nothing, and a highway. And that's all there was. But he said in the interim, as they were setting up, all of a sudden, like they had it ready to roll, they came out with these portable fire pits, seating areas, all for separate, like you said, separate groups. So they all had their own fire pit. They set up a stage, lighting, and he said that when he finally played, they had maybe 50, 75 people, or I'm not sure exactly, but under 100. But he said, you looked out, and he says it was one of the most fun gigs they played yet. Well done that people were able to come out. It was all reserved. And he says with the fire, all the fires burning, the smoke was blowing toward the stage, and it was like they had, smoke on the stage. He said it was just awesome. But there's creative ways to do it in the meantime.
Yeah.
Well, I can't remember who we had on a couple months ago, and they made a comment. They said, if bands don't come out of this thing with tons of material for albums to be recorded, if they haven't already started recording them and sending files back and forth to each other, then they just wasted a year of their life. Mm-hmm. And it was like, you are spot on correct with that. We should be inundated starting next year with just tons of music, and especially from the bands that we all grew up listening to. Hey, maybe you don't want to make music anymore because nobody really wants to hear your stuff. They just want you to play the hits or whatever. But if you're really a band, you should be making music.
Oh shit! Most people have said it. Sherry's band's been recording right through this, right?
Yeah.
Gentleman I interviewed the other night, he said the same thing. All the bands he's talking to, and most of the bands everyone's writing. If not already had written and are starting to record music, and whether they're releasing it as singles, because still albums, old school, the approach, albums was the way to go. Times have changed now. because you got to be careful how you release your music because it can be lost in the mix. So they pretty much drop them one at a time, space it out, see how much traction or let's see how much you can get out of a song. But and if you're going to record in a studio album, costs a fortune.
Yeah, and people just download it for free, and the band don't make any money. So I get it when they just do singles. Here, our new single's coming out next month, and then we got another one coming out a month after that. And oh, well, when are you going to do an album? I don't know. So I get it. I mean, I understand it. Because it's probably the best way they can make money right now. So
a lot of they're doing covers. I've even seen there's bands and artists out there doing requests. Kind of like these cameo things, for the celebrities, but instead they're doing a request, whatever cover for, throw X amount in the pot, kind of thing, which it keeps them working. I mean, working is working right now. But
I think that's
and Sherry knows this, people that justify what I call stealing because it's out there, everyone expects the music for free now. Which eventually I want to do a serious let's say, group kind of meeting about that all these people that are running around and justifying stealing music is okay. It's not okay. It's not like borrowing your buddy's cassette or an album and recording it. No, you're stealing the files off of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if they're available for sale through whatever Bandcamp or streaming downloads through directly from the band, whether it's the digital copy or a physical copy, no, you're stealing it.
I totally agree. I will tell you, a lot of times I will borrow like 30 seconds of a song. But I don't download the whole song or anything like that because I don't want the song. I just want, like a smidgen of, say, the segment we're going to talk about is we talk about a bunch of different albums. And so let's say one of them is, Motley Crue. I may play 25 seconds of a Motley Crue song that fades out, but I didn't download the whole song. I didn't steal the song. I'm just sampling that little bit. But if I get told to take it off, no problem. Take it off in a heartbeat,
Oh, you see that happen a lot on YouTube. I don't do it because I don't have any music like that. The music that I put on a Twitter page, all the bands are aware of it. And it's strictly actually to promote them. And even when I'm offered music, happened to me yesterday, the young artist, her, short little kid from North Carolina, Sherry. She just really.
Oh, yeah.
I won't say her name. I'm talking about you, Abby.
I was going to say, is it somebody that plays bass?
Abby.
Yeah, I've played her stuff.
She goes.
Awesome.
She sent me a message yesterday, and I said, I'm going to say no, and she said, but I still have to ask. I said, but I'd rather you take that and give that to a fan,
Yeah.
But I don't own hardly any of the new music because I won't take it for free, and I can't buy it all because if I do, I'd be broke. We just posted. Well, I'm broke anyway. I shouldn't say that. I am broke, but I'd be even more broke.
I'll tell you the one thing that I have to be very, very conscious of is I'll get so much stuff from different record companies, the PR folks, and the release date might not be for 2 months. And I have to be very careful that I don't play something before I'm supposed to. So I have to really read through and see what they're saying, like only play this song. Yep. Or, radios don't play no song, So I've come close a couple times and I may have accidentally put some stuff out. The funniest was there was a band that was from overseas and their record company sent me their new CD and told me I could play, one of the songs, told me, yeah, this is the song you could play. And so I played the song and I tagged the band on social media. They quickly emailed me, hit me up on Facebook or Twitter or whatever. How did you get this song? And I'm like, I got it from your record company. We didn't know we were allowed to release it. I'm like, talk to your record company. They told me it was okay. And I got a little nervous and went and checked the email. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'm good. I was like, well, obviously the record company hadn't told the band that we're pushing that song. We're sending it out for whatever they call it, They have some terminology. I can't think of the name of it. Going for ads or something like that. And
well, it's pre-release.
yeah,
But that's for you to. Sometimes it depends on how they word it. They'll say, "Hey, TJ, what's up, man?" Right? Let me say hello. What's up, TJ?
What's happening, Mike?
How you doing, man? We're talking rock and roll. You in?
I'm in, brother.
We're full of shit. We think we know what we're talking about, but just bear with us.
I hear you, man.
But
I'm sorry I'm late. I was watching the college game, so.
Oh, what was I watching? I watched Stanford and Washington, I think. I don't know why I ended up watching it. But
I was watching. I watched a couple different ones today. I was flipping back and forth. I was watching the Auburn game and I was watching the Florida game. Our game got canceled, postponed or something. I don't know with Vanderbilt, but
was it? I know a lot have been canceled because of players down and.
Yeah, I think that's what happened with ours.
The NFL game last week, where all 4 quarterbacks were out.
That was all.
Oh yeah, wow. Denver.
It was the Denver. Yeah. I'm like, so is it a running back or someone that's got?
Yeah, it was a running back. I think that's
what I think.
Yeah.
I think they used a couple different people, but.
Back to what we were saying about, and it's something that you got to be careful because a lot of I get the same thing, and what I do is they'll say they're very vague in sometimes in the wording in the email. They'll attach the download. They'll say, "Here's your EPK media kit, a link to the maybe a Dropbox or something like that," and they'll say it'll say for release, for news release, for press release, and then it'll say that the single is available for play, but you don't see a date. The album might have a date, and I've had this happen a few times, and long story short, it's confusing. I emailed back and said, "Is this released yet for play?" No. Well, you got to be very specific about when is it, because there was no clear date, and it makes it seem like they'll send you that an album is going to be released, and they'll send you 1 or 2 singles, and then you find out that the singles aren't even released yet.
Right.
So you just got to be careful, because I get a whole bunch. I don't want to name names because they're trying, and I mean what they do really gets the music out to people. So I'll
check YouTube a lot of times, and I'll check the record company, and I'll check the band, and if I see it on there, then I know it's good to go.
No, it's out.
Exactly. If you've got it up on YouTube, then obviously it's okay to play. Or if they put it up on their Facebook page, some of the bands have done that where it's not a YouTube video, but it's them actually putting it on. I'm like, okay, well, it's on their Facebook page. It must be okay to play.
Perfect example.
If I have questions, I always email back and say, is this releasable?
Easiest way, just be,
Yeah.
It just cover. I call it covering my ass, and I don't hurt them. But Sherry, perfect example, Clever Weapon. The other day, I knew the song was coming out, but what did I ask you? Maybe it was you or James. I don't know who I got through the band's Twitter, but I said, "When's the video coming?" Oh, no, who was it?
I think it was during the last the interview that we just did.
Yeah, but
you had asked me, you're like, send it to me, and I'm like, yeah, for sure. And then we released it. I'm like, oh my god, I forgot to tell Mike about it. I'm like,
then that's why I did is I got hold of the song.
Yeah.
I don't think you didn't have the lyric video up, and I messaged you guys, and he said by the end of the week. So I said no big deal. So I just made like I do with the clips, and I take your I'll take a picture of the let's say the CD cover or whatever.
Yeah.
I just make the 2-minute clip, the 2:20 clip, and I put it out. Next thing I know, the lyric video was out, and I'm like, now it's got likes, and I don't want to take it down.
Yeah.
So now I never put up the lyric video. I said, oh, whatever. It's the job done.
Exactly. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, the lyric video was out, and then we're, like I said, I'm supposed to be working on the actual footage for the live video, but I'm kind of
talking us. I'm going to rat you out.
Yeah, I'm ratting myself out.
So wait a minute. You're filming your parts of the video at home, right?
Pretty much. Yeah, that's really how we've been doing everything. We just do even vocals. So I'll do my vocals, and then I will send it off to Jason, our drummer, which is basically our producer, and he just kind of does all the mixing and he does everything. He literally takes everybody's parts and puts it all together. For the videos, that's pretty much how we've been doing it as well. Sun Song was pretty much done that way. I think Snap was done that way as well. We just kind of send our own videos, but it's kind of funny because you don't really have this, extravagant kind of video thing going on. It's just you and your cell phone. It's like the most awkwardest thing. It's so ridiculous, but that's basically how we do it. And then we just send it off, and then yeah, Jason, our guy, he kind of puts it all together.
You got to make it work. I mean, that's an
We
example.
have to make it work somehow.
Okay, well, adapting.
Like we can't just stop. And it's funny how you guys were talking about, just bands really working on material and having an anticipation that next year there's going to be so much material out there. And I think it's true, because there's just so much more time now to be more creative and do all of these things and release all of this music, right? Whereas before, well, mind you, everybody is still busy, but I feel like now there's more of a want and a need because of everything that's going on right now. It's been rough. It's rough for everybody right now. So it's kind of being in that creative space, it helps you deal with all the nonsense and all the craziness that's going on.
I think it's the word now is appreciation.
Exactly.
Everything we took for granted is now, taken away.
Yeah, family time, stuff that was boring before, or some people would consider boring before, is now like,
taken for granted. Simple things like just going to a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I keep saying New York City right now is it's a Saturday night, and right now it's a ghost town. It's 9:52 p.m. and if you go down to Manhattan, there's nobody there.
Really? Eh?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I actually pulled up a webcam that is over over Times Square, and it was just like, wow, this is like nothing. And I'll tell you, my fiance's out of the house this weekend. I actually bought for her a trip to go to New York, for her and I to go to New York for 4th of July next year. And I got like tickets to go see the Jersey Boys, and I got his tickets on one of the boats that's going to go out on the Hudson to watch the fireworks. And I'm thinking, man, I hope all this happens. I was like, because even though I know I'll get my money back if it doesn't, but it's like that part I'm not really I'm concerned about getting my money back, but I'm more concerned. I just want to be able to say, hey, let's go. She's only been to New York like once in her life, and she didn't really get to go she just went to Statue of Liberty and didn't do anything else. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I lived up in Connecticut. There's so much to do in New York. So
I have yet.
Listen, I got to go. My dog is chomping at the bit to go outside, and
No.
I don't want to make that 85-pound baby upset. So.
Oh yeah.
So hey, y'all have a good rest of your night, and
Thanks for stopping in, dude.
And I love that Cowboys hoodie. Wear it, man. Wear it. So
I appreciate it. You got to have a lot of pride to wear it these days.
I know. Trust me. I've been a Cowboys fan my entire life, and it's been some lean years. So
Yeah, it has.
I got to run. Talk to y'all later. It's fun.
Hey, man. Thanks.
Hey, take care, buddy.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, sorry I had to cut out there. Mike, my internet went out there for a minute.
It looked like you dropped. We lost you. But Sherry, TJ's one of the guys that does. He's with the Bracketeers that are doing those polls that you see me throwing.
Oh yeah. Those are good polls. Yeah.
Hey, appreciate it, Sherry. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
He is the lead vocalist from the band Clever Weapon out of Oakville, Ontario. Am I right?
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
It's really Toronto, but to
Yeah.
be more specific.
Yeah, exactly.
Very nice. We've actually got a pretty good Canadian following, and we had a person just kind of send me a DM one day and ask for a all-out Canadian tournament, like the most Canadian thing ever.
Syrup.
So you can imagine, like, most of our followers are American. So what do you know what won the most Canadian thing ever? I'm assuming
The maple syrup?
hockey.
Hockey. Yeah. But you'd be surprised. The hockey thing is still strong. But I'm finding, or at least in Toronto, basketball is really on the rise.
Yeah, they love the Raptors up there.
Yeah. But not even just like I've been a Raptors fan since like for over 10 years. But yeah, it seems like a lot of the younger kids, a lot of the younger generation is really getting into basketball. Because hockey, it's like there's so much equipment involved. It's a little bit more expensive with a basketball. You just need a basketball.
All you need is a basketball and a hoop. That's it.
Yeah, and some good runners. Not even. You can just wear some cheap runners and you're good to play on the court, right? So
Yeah, that's right.
yeah, so it's one of
So
those.
I'm sorry, what was the name of your band? I need to check you out.
Clever Weapon.
Clever Weapon. Very
Clever
nice.
Weapon. Yeah.
She can sing.
What was that,
She can
Mike?
sing.
I said she can sing.
I
Very
try.
I even made her do our version of online karaoke, whatever that was. You did Love Alive.
Yeah, we did.
The beginning of this mess.
Yeah, we did like a kind of like a karaoke version to Heart. I love Heart. They're the greatest.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's on the channel. I forgot.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
I'm sorry. I forgot about all those videos that we posted, you and even Claudia's stuff, that I never looked after we did all that goofy stuff last year and then the beginning of this year. I never went back to the channel to see if people were actually viewing this stuff.
Yeah.
And I had no idea.
Yeah. And like I say, I'm shocked every time. I'm like, what? People like it? And then I'm messaging the guys. Remember
Shocked me, and I'm glad, like the Bracketeers, I saw what they do, and I immediately saw how creative they are in their bracket polls.
Yeah.
And they're growing, but I just posted something tonight as a goof because I'm blown away. Are people so bored that I say that's bullshit. I want people to listen to the new music, but we're going to have 20,000 followers soon.
That is huge.
Hell yeah, you are.
I'm like, do they have any idea the moron that's behind the scenes here?
Well, you're doing something right, Mike. You got 20,000 followers. That's huge.
I have no problem saying I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
No, you're 10 steps ahead of us, man. I have no idea how to start a YouTube channel and all that shit. So I mean, you're doing just fine, man.
Yeah.
I do it as a goof because we said it this spring because we were all kind of fumbling. Like, now what do we do? What do we do to keep everybody going? And basically, it was like, all right, well, we got music, we play the music, but the band's got to make money. All this shit costs money. All these bands are literally out of work other than what they make through their merchandise, selling music physically, and whatever the minute pennies at a time that they make on the Spotify plays, because that's how they make money. TJ, is the biggest thing is gigging.
Gigs, and is like tip jars a thing or no?
You know what? Tell us
Or is that a little bit smaller than what we're talking about?
You know what? Let me ask Sherry just for her band, because it's all different. But what do you guys? Again, I'm not prying for how you make your money, but what does the band see the most money?
And shows, yeah.
Exactly. I mean, I don't like to jump to conclusions, but that's the answer pretty much globally. You have to be playing live, and it's it's kind of like a threefold thing. Helps build your fan base. You're playing live, you make money, you sell your and you're able to directly connect with the fans.
Yeah,
that's the key to rock and roll. Or the key
I think that's the overall joy. I think it's definitely not the money. At least I don't know about the guys, and I can't speak for the band, but for me, if somebody were to ask me to go to this place and play a show for free, I would probably do it, simply because I just love doing it.
Just love doing what you're doing.
Exactly. And I feel like if somebody were to ask you to do something that you love for free and you say no, then maybe you don't love it that much, and maybe you shouldn't be doing it. You know what I mean? It just kind of it makes you think a little bit more. So Yeah, I mean, I would do shows for free. I'm the one in the band that just says, guys, let's just do that. Yeah, but let's just do it. Who cares? They're like, no, 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 no. They're always trying to talk sense into me because I'm the more just the one that's really, really open. I'm like, who cares where we play? Who cares? We can play to 20 people or 200
Yeah.
people or 2,000 people. I don't care. Just as long as I get to just do what I like to do. So everybody has their own thing.
Back to
Yeah, that's awesome.
back to topic off topic. The Canadian tournament. You got me thinking. Oh, I got to ask you something, Sherry. Is this true? I had a French Canadian friend of mine for years.
Okay.
He Quebecois.
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 Nice.
I took French for 3 years. I know 20 words.
Nice.
But anyway, they really take snow, pack it over a picnic table, and then pour the maple syrup over it, and then it hardens and it's like candy.
See,
I hadn't heard of that.
I swear to God, you tell me about this. I'm like, okay.
this is the funny thing. I might have to break down this belief. It's a very common belief about this maple syrup. I have no idea where this maple syrup thing comes from. My family is from Chile, so you can imagine we don't use maple syrup. It's not. It's like we're Spanish. We don't do maple syrup, right? We do hot weather. Like that's what we do. We don't. You know what I mean? So. I think some Canadian families do it, some don't. My family definitely didn't.
It's all that, it's the typical, it's like New York. Oh, you could do, oh my God, I didn't think of that. A New York poll. You want all the New York stereotypes?
Oh, dude, yeah, we could kill it.
I'm the guy.
There you go. That would be interesting. Yeah, that would be interesting.
Start with pizza. That's number one.
Oh, yeah, the New York pizza is where it's at, right? I mean,
and then, well, you could everything. It'd be interesting.
I've never been to New York. I think that would probably be my next go-to.
Well, it's funny, and I asked you guys during your interview. I mean,
yeah,
made it across the border yet? And obviously, with all this crap just to get across the border, even before COVID, It's a shame because the sound of your band, and I mean this, in Manhattan, you would kill it. I could hear you guys playing the Bitter End. If they stay open, I saw that they're in trouble now too, and that place is legendary.
Oh no,
New York, but all those clubs, let's say in Greenwich Village, that area along Manhattan, and you got the Iridium up on Broadway, 52nd. Those places are just, you go into a basement.
Oh yeah, those spots are cool. Those spots are really cool.
Well, the Iridium is the best because I was friggin' blown away when Mariah played that place. And there's a whole story behind that. Yeah. I showed up and you walk downstairs and over your head is a gold top Les Paul. As you walk down the stairs into the club, and there's pictures of Les Paul. I knew the place he played there. I didn't realize he had a residency there for I don't know how long. You go downstairs and there's videos of him playing with Eddie Van Halen there. Everybody, Joe Satriani, Zakk Wylde, all of them played with him there. Mm-hmm. The Les Paul, and I'm standing on the stage in the place that and I'm like, I have no right to be here. But everywhere was everybody's guitars, a guitar that he owned personally, under glass, but those are the kind of places down there that this is what I say, not just for us and the new bands coming up trying, place to play, they're going to be lost forever. They're like, these are musical landmarks.
Mm-hmm, for sure. We've had some here, I think, in Toronto as well that had to shut down right at the beginning of the pandemic. I can't remember the name of it. And one of the guys in the band is obsessed with this place. I remember he used to talk about it a lot.
Yeah. Toronto?
What was that?
The Basement. Is there a place in Toronto called The Basement?
I don't think so.
Was there
Maybe.
another club that's got like they actually own 3 different clubs, or it's kind of all the same, but they're spread out all over the city?
Oh yeah. I can't remember the name, but there is one of those. Yeah, it's like the same company. It's just kind of like 3 or 4 clubs spread out throughout the city.
Because I know when I tried to, I contacted the booking agency up there, but it was for all 3 places at the same time. I just can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
But kind of like you said, where crossing the border is a pure pain in the ass to go.
Such a pain in the ass. It's such a pain. And I remember telling the guys, I'm like, guys, we should go to the States and play a couple of shows, like not that far out, obviously, but I mean, we're like, what, 2 hours away from New York, right? So it's like,
How long does it take you to get from, say, I don't know, how do you cross? Toronto to Buffalo.
oh, we could drive.
That's what I mean. So if you can get to Buffalo, Buffalo is just under 4 hours for me, or is it? I've been to Niagara Falls. I go up to Rochester, but it's been a while. You're not that far.
No, not at all.
No, because
Not at all. But I think it's just it's like Jason was saying, right? The visas and the health insurance and this,
I
there's
didn't
so
realize.
much to consider.
I have friends that race horses up there. They used to when they had standardbreds at Woodbine.
Oh yeah.
Okay, now it's all thoroughbreds. They moved the standardbreds all to the Mohawk, and they still go up there. But even for them, there's all these business certificates. Like you said, you have to basically show yourself as doing business in the other country, then all the health certificates, then all of it, just to get over there they go race. It'll be the same as you guys coming down here to play.
Yeah.
And it's a nightmare if it's just for a few gigs.
Yeah, we would have to do it for like a month or so, or we'd have to do it for a significant period of time, not just like a couple of days.
Yeah,
I was always telling the guys, I'm like, guys, we should do that. And they're like, oh, I don't know. It's really complicated. But I think that's something, hopefully, when this pandemic is over, that we can definitely do. Because 1, I want to go shopping. And 2,
no, you don't want to go shop. Maybe you do. I don't know. I'm not going to say Manhattan. Go to Jersey and buy all the same stuff on the other side of the river for 30 to 40% less.
I'd like to just shop, play. Like I think we were talking about that in the chat that we did, right, Mike? Where we would just go down to the States, play a couple of shows,
and spend all the money.
I can shop and then come back home. I'll be a happy camper then.
That's Saks Fifth Avenue. I guess those are all kind of like the first touristy places. You go to Saks, you go to Macy's. I don't even know if like the old stores are all still are gone or whatever, but you go up and down Fifth Avenue, forget it. Whatever you make, you can spend really quick.
Yeah. And the funny thing, I was telling one of my girlfriends this too. I'm like, I wish in Toronto I'm sure there is. I just don't know where. A place that sells like 80s clothes. Like that type of vibe with the colors and the scrunchies
and stuff like that. Yep.
And I'm like, and then she was like, maybe we should go to the States. I'm like, that's it. So we're literally.
Oh my God! If you go, like I said, Greenwich Village in Lower Manhattan, you'll find there's tons of stores like that.
Really?
Oh, you name it, anything you can think of. There's more than enough.
80s vibes. That's what I love. I love the fashion. I love, especially the rock vibe of the 80s. That's what I grew up on. Yeah, so for me, that's like the ultimate fashion. The fashion now I think is very cool because it's kind of mixed with the 90s vibe, which is very hip hop, rap. Mike, I'm very much into that sort of thing as well. I do love rock music, but I'm also into like hip hop and rap and all that other stuff. So yeah, I might lose rock points for saying that, but it's true. It's true. I'm literally a mix.
I agree on everything.
Yeah, I literally grew up to 80s rock through my parents, and then 90s R&B started to kick in the 90s. That started to get really big, and that's where.
That's what I heard in that one clip you did a while back, and I remember messaging you and I'm like, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
You told me the real story that's what you cut your teeth on first.
Yeah. It's funny because the guys too, they were just kind of like, so you like rock, but you listen to hip hop and soca.
Well, I heard soul and you sing is what I heard.
Yeah. So that's what they were saying too. They're just kind of like, but I think that's at the beginning, I probably confused them because they're like, So what's your story? Like, how do you like?
You came in
You
back.
like too many things, and yet you sound like one way, and that's just, I don't know. That's just how I am. I feel very comfortable, kind of mixing and matching sounds and vibes. But yeah, I mean, the R&B and the soul has always been there. So yeah, that's definitely one of the influences.
Now what we got?
And that's what makes rock amazing too. And I think it's interesting because I think a lot of people, remember we were talking in our chat about rock, and people think rock is dead and blah blah blah. But it's interesting because rock is one of those genres that can really fit with anything else.
Because it's the mud.
Exactly.
We're a product of everything else.
It can go with pop. It can go with country.
It's true.
It's very, very close to country even. It can go with hip hop and rap, like Run DMC, and then when Aerosmith, when they did that song together, that was huge.
Mm-hmm.
People were just kind of like, no, you can't mix that. And when that came out, I was like, ha, you see, it can. It works. That's the beauty of music, because you can mix genres together and create something new.
Well, wasn't Sugar Hill Gang was doing that?
Yeah.
At the beginning, and nobody recognized it.
Yeah.
What they were able to do. Everybody takes little pieces of each other, and that's how you make new music. That's
exactly.
It's fresh. But I tell you what, now that we got TJ here, I'm thinking more bracket poll ideas. I wonder.
All right, what you got?
The Canadian one is good, definitely.
That's good. But how about like an R&B and soul music poll? Have you done anything like that?
Yeah.
We have not, as we pretty much stuck to kind of going decades. So
you haven't gone by genre yet too much, right?
Correct. We have not. We've done a few, like, right now we're doing like Battle of the Bands, like Southern rock. We did 80s hair bands, Battle of the Bands, where we took like 4 bands and put them up against one another. So we're always up for ideas, like maybe a R&B or hip hop or whatever Battle of the Bands, or just an overall tournament. That'd be killer.
Mm-hmm.
The beautiful thing about their Twitter account is they have no limits, or they have no boundaries. So like KRA is obviously rock and roll, but they can open themselves up to a whole new fan base, or let's say, or follower base, whatever you want to call it. So if they did like an R&B or something like that, you're going to have a torrent of new people.
That's right. Yeah.
And that's what's cool about it. You can always expand, but that's up to you guys. You do the.
Oh no, I appreciate it. We're always up for new ideas and new bracket polls and new tournaments. And Joe and I were just on the phone a little while ago trying to figure out what we're going to put up. We got to figure something up for tomorrow, so we'll get something up, and
you guys
kind of going with it.
Soul R&B poll.
Yeah, we'll figure something out, man. My entire middle school life, I listened to nothing but rap music, and then got a little bit older. Now I listen to pretty much all country music. So I mean, it just, people evolve, people change, and tastes change, and I think it's cool what y'all do. You've got I learned a lot from. I didn't realize I had so much of a taste for rock music until we did the 70s rock draft. Like, and I'd never even heard some of the songs that you drafted, and I was like, dude, Cashmere kicks fucking ass, dude. Like, that was awesome.
I still think it's the greatest Led Zeppelin song ever, but
it's pretty good.
Everybody's
awesome, dude. Like, I'd heard it, but I'd never listened to it. You know what I'm saying? So, and when you picked that song, I made that playlist of the entire draft and went through and listened to all the songs. Yeah, that was killer. And I've learned a lot about rock music by, kind of being tied with you and doing a lot of stuff together, and it's been fun, man.
I get it. It gives me things to spread. But let me tell Sherry what I did to you. This is before I really knew them. Mm-hmm. They brought me in on the draft, right? So I just figured, okay, yeah. I mean, I'll choose this song. And I knew right away, you know, obviously you see all the polls. You do a 70s rock poll and it's songs. And if you include Stairway, 99 times out of 100, 99.999 times out of 100.
Yeah.
You got the 0.0001.
This guy, see, I didn't know that they were, you know, I didn't know they were all friends. I didn't know the setup. So when I got in there, I'm going in there giving deep cuts because I didn't want it. The way I'm thinking is it's always the same songs.
Yeah.
But this guy, he immediately took Stairway. And then I found out that what they do is they rib each other and it's kind of like a competition and who's going to win. I'm like, son of a bitch. Well, obviously I knew right away. So he goes, I'm like, well, I didn't know I was being fucking ambushed. This is what So he says, and then I got it and I was kidding around, but I waited. I kept my mouth shut. This was great. Somebody else took Bohemian Rhapsody and I took.
That was me.
That you were Bohemian Rhapsody.
Yeah, so I ended up winning thanks to you. I appreciate that.
There you go, Mike.
I'm sorry. What's the other guy's name?
Joe.
Oh, Joe. Yeah, he took it, and that's what he was kidding with me about that. And I'm like, well, you can't lose, but whatever. So I kept my mouth shut. I waited till their championship, the head-to-head, and I went to the Queen fan club website, the fan club page, right? I tagged their poll into it directly to the Queen fan club, and I said, "Are you guys going to let this happen?" It was Queen versus Bohemian Rhapsody. Bohemian Rhapsody won. I was fucking rolling, and I didn't.
It just kind of just took it over too. I think they just ended up blowing them out.
Swarmed it.
Yeah,
God, that's
I
hilarious.
never told them. They never knew how it happened. And I think was it the first time the other night? I think I kidded you guys once in a tweet and said, "Do you have any?"
Yeah, maybe.
I was the one that threw the. I screwed the pooch.
Threw the whole monkey wrench in there, and it was awesome.
Great. I've never get beat.
That's so funny.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, and I appreciate it because I ended up getting the bragging rights, and I got to talk all kinds of shit to Joe after that. So.
And they had no idea how it really happened. That's the best part. That's voter fraud. I manipulated the outcome of the election.
Yeah, you did.
I'm going to jail. I'm going to Led Zeppelin jail. And Led Zeppelin's my band. But
that's your band, huh?
Oh yeah. But you know something? I'm such an old purist Led Zeppelin fan that I am sick of Stairway to Heaven. It's just so overplayed.
Yeah, it really is.
So Mike, I got something for you. My buddy was creating a playlist the other day, and keep in mind, I never really listened to rock music until here recently because of what we got going on. My buddy asked me, he sent me, says, I'm a big Waylon Jennings fan, so I'm a big country fan. He said, give me your top 5 Waylon songs. Give me your top 5 songs outside of Waylon Jennings. And I'm asking 10 other people, I'm creating a playlist according to that. So my top 5 songs that were not Waylon Jennings, Kashmir was in it. And that's all thanks to you, man. Like I'd never, that wasn't in, it wouldn't have been on my list like until, what was that, like 2 months ago. So
that's the cool thing about this stuff in music. And I mean, it exposes people to different things. Me too. We shouldn't be set in our ways.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. You got to adapt, man.
Music. I mean, I'm not saying that this is some stuff that even my daughter listens to that I can tolerate. And I can hear the music in it, and again, it's okay. I'm not gonna, it doesn't mean I'm gonna run out by it, but why not? Mm-hmm. Different flavors of everything,
That's right, man. Absolutely.
We got to try everything. Oh, and if you saw me just taking pills just now, I was. Those are my hard pills. I had my blood pressure, my nightly cholesterol pill, and I'm like, shit, it's over here. How am I gonna sneak it?
Oh, dude, I'm over here drinking beer and smoking cigarettes, so you're good, man.
No, I'm taking blood pressure pills and Gatorade. That's my life.
That's all right,
eating
man.
Burger King, Mike? Remember last time you were like, you still eating Burger King? No.
I swear.
I like a good Whopper every once in a while.
Oh.
If I'm going to die, I want to die happy.
There you go.
I don't want to die with a friggin' salad. I want to have a Whopper in my hand that they can't pry out of it.
Yeah.
No, I actually
like it.
the other day, and I went to get something for lunch, and I know I'm not supposed to go in there, but I smell the place. It's my one weakness, and it's something I remember as a kid. Burger King.
Burger King.
Yeah, I don't. That's I'm not into all the junk food stuff. Like I hate McDonald's. Absolutely. Sherry froze. See, she accused me of eating Burger King, and she froze. Ha 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 ha.
She said, "I've had enough of you and your Burger King."
No, but I wanted it so bad because I love a Whopper. I don't know why, but I went to the drive-thru, and just as I was about to order number one, I go, number 8. I get the chicken sandwich, thinking, well, that's got to be healthier.
No, not from Burger King. It's not.
Yeah, there's nothing healthy.